Hi guys, Happy Gamer here and welcome to the 5th day and final day of Villains Week here on RP Rambling. And first and foremost, so I'm being completely honest and open with you guys, I'm recording this Thursday because this week's my week of going to see my kids, so I'll be on a train or just getting home and feeding them, so that's why I'm recording now, not tomorrow or today, if you're watching it tomorrow. That makes sense to you. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is, well, you've obviously seen in the title, character death was last week. Villain's death, the death of your villain. And I know everybody sat there saying, well, your villains never truly die in adventure games and movies and TV, never truly die, they can always be brought back, and that's true, they can always be brought back. But if you took that approach to it all the time, your campaigns would never end. So we're going to pretty much talk about the end of the adventure, death-wise. So, God, that sun's just so low. Oh well, so high now. So, your big bad. Let's start with the big bad. Big bad, the big end boss, the big nemesis guy who you fight at the end. He should always die at the end of a campaign. They should always, die or be imprisoned or have something that stops them on what's seen as a permanent basis. What your heroes would see as a permanent basis. Death, imprisonment, petrification, anything like that. Anything that puts a stop to their plans on a permanent, or even if not a permanent basis, it just puts the halt to their plans. Like, say they're imprisoned in stone for 1,000 years, then they'll be out and more than likely restarting their plan. But then at least that allows the PCs to go away and start some kind of plan for the 1,000 years when they come back. Maybe start some kind of order that keeps watch over the villain or something like that. But so big bad, in my opinion, should always have big climactic battle, big epic battle that uses everything the PCs have. Should always use, I think it should always take the PCs to near death, the final epic encounter. It should be all or nothing for them. That's how they should treat this final encounter. So maybe even kill a PC or two. If you haven't had that sort of campaign already, and I spoke about that last week, character death. But if you got that kind of campaign already, then I suppose the character death in the final battle won't matter. But if you haven't, then this is the time to bring it in. have your characters die, have them sacrifice themselves, have them epic if like the final hit on the big bad comes from the PC who could only take one more hit themselves before going down. I mean that would be an epic ending, but it doesn't always work out like that. And more often than not, your big bad dies from tripping over or just not saving properly. Something not so epic. And when your big bad dies, it shouldn't just be at least I don't think it should be a quick fall over, look, he's dead, hooray. I think maybe have all the big famous bad guys like Darth Vader and Darth Vader. They've all had that moment just before they die, from like the final blow to them dying. They've all had the moment to give the bit of a monologue or whatever, give a closing statement to their life, if you want to, their epitaph, give their own little epitaphy monologue type thing. I hope I'm making sense. But so that's your big bad. Let's move down to the next level of villain, which is the second in command, or however you're calling him, Phil. We'll just call him Phil. I like the name Phil. But Phil, he should have, my opinion, he should maybe not die, but the end for him should be a punishment at least. He should be punished for his part in it. Whether that's not, that might be death. He might give his life for the big bad. That's a thing. That's a trope, I think. But so he'll give his life for the big bad, and then but as I said yesterday, he should have as big a part in it as the big bad. So give him a chance to have the final word in his death, or well, his end. As he's being carted off, have him shouting things at the heroes, or as he's being, maybe have the petrification being like that slow kind of thing that creeps up the body, and have him like taunting the PCs that he'll be back, or when he returns he'll be by his master's side again, and things like this. I mean, the lieutenants and that level, their end can just be death. They just kill them off. They're not important to the plot, to the plan. You can have them killed off. You can have them. I don't want to say they don't matter, because they do. They're a type of villain, but they don't need the epicness that the other two get. They don't need to have the monologue as you reveal them to be the villain they are, or as you get them arrested, or as you kill them, or however you're dealing with them. the minions should really just die, because they're just the tenner penny cannon fodder types. They're just always there, always, always bring more of them in. They're easy enough to bring in. They shouldn't really have a second thought in anything. Yeah, and that was it. 10 minutes. No. So decided that the big bad and the second in command are getting these epic deaths. So that should mean that, well, they only die once. The end only comes once to them. Well, no, it doesn't have to. You could have the big bad get killed in the first session, maybe, and then be the rest of the campaign until the last couple of sessions. The second in command is the big bad, looking for a way to resurrect his master, and then the last couple of sessions before the end, he succeeds and the big bad comes back, and obviously looking for revenge against the PCs. Or you could bring him back halfway through, and the second half is him focusing all his might on the PCs, trying to get revenge on them, and then that makes the campaign a lot more personal. So the big bad can die, but I'd say twice at the most, because otherwise it'll just get ridiculous. And when you do kill him, don't bring him back immediately. Don't have your heroes end the session by killing him, and then in the beginning of the next session you start with the minions or second in command bringing his body back to the lair and it coming back to life. Have him gone for a while. Put the focus on the other villains or someone else, or maybe a completely different villain that had nothing to do with the big bad. Switch focus to another villain, take focus away from the big bad, so lull the players and the characters into a false sense of security. Say, you've dealt with this villain, let's move on to the next villain. You've dealt with the big bad who was trying to take down the kingdom, but you hear news of the evil wizard trying to take down the school of magic, so they go off to deal with that. In the meantime, in the background, this big bad's slowly resurrecting to come back for revenge. Just so resurrect once, have them die twice. That's how it goes. The second in command, I would say don't kill him off more than once. Have his end be towards the end of the campaign. As I say, if you get rid of him early on, there's no one to carry out the big bad's plans really, and unless the big bad has other people, unless there's multiple second in commands. If you want to go that route, there's multiple villains on that level. That would be kind of taking the lieutenant's level and rising it up. So there's multiple direct underlings to the big bad, and then in that case, yeah, kill them off. Just kill them off as the players maybe not as the players encounter them, not as the characters encounter them. Have big epic battles with them, but like allow each villain to shine and get to know the villain, and then have them killed off or ended in in some way. If that's the way you want to go, as I said before, you can have multiples of what you can do what you want with the villains. That was just my list. The lieutenants and that, as I say, as many as you want, kill them off, get rid of them however you want. Bounty hunters that come along, probably that could either be you convince them that you're not someone they should be chasing, in which case they might join your side, or they just leave you alone, or you can kill them. Maybe that won't bring any extra pressure against you. Maybe it might put an actual bounty on your head by killing a bounty hunter, because technically they were innocents, so they weren't your enemy, they weren't bad, so it might bring a bounty onto your head killing them, or it might not, depending on how your setting works with bounty hunters. Same with rival parties, rival adventurers. Killing them would more than likely put a bounty on your head, give you a criminal status if people found out about you killing them, obviously. So that's to think about. They have their death would lead to other adventures, because you're now dealing with you're now seen as actual criminals to the world, even though you're the heroes taking on the villain. You're seen as actual bad guys now. So maybe towns will stop dealing with. Sorry about that, my phone died. But maybe the towns will stop dealing with you as word spreads of your crimes. Maybe you'll actually start getting offers from the more seedier sides of towns, the thieves guilds, the assassins guilds and that, as they hear of, you took down the amazing Gabriella, you must be worth, I've got a little job for you to do, or some such like that. That can lead to other adventures. Maybe killing the lieutenants does that. Maybe the lieutenants are seen as good people. They're just working for, so kind of leads to trouble for you as the PCs. The minions, well, the majority of the minions you come across are going to be the bandits, groups of goblins and kobolds and orcs and whatever. They're going to be the more random fights, the more general everyday encounters. So unless they in your world come with some kind of consequence to them, then there should be no consequence to those. But the rest you can have consequences to. Even killing the big bad could lead to another adventure, could lead to immense consequences for you. Maybe the big bad's a baron or a duke that has been getting his second in command to do everything for him. Maybe you kill the duke before it's revealed that he was behind it all, so everyone views you as criminals. You've just killed the duke or the king or whatever. You've killed an innocent, even though you know that he wasn't. So really, a villain's death doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of something new, another adventure, another campaign. And as I say, villains are never dead forever. They can always come back in future campaigns, or even in the next campaign you could bring your big bad back. But if you brought them back in the next campaign, I wouldn't have them as your big as your big bad, because to be honest, they've just dealt with that big bad, so it'd be kind of boring for your players to be dealing with the same big bad again. So maybe they've been resurrected under the employ of a necromancer. They're more lieutenant or even minion level villain now, because they've been brought back as an undead, as just could bring them back with all their faculties and bring them back to maybe second in command level. But I kind of like the idea that in the next campaign they're brought back by a necromancer as just one of the many minions or lieutenants you fight, and it'll be a big surprise for your players. They come across this like hulking corpse, like I don't know how zombies and the undead deal in your world, but they're just hulking masses that just have the one thing on their mind. Maybe it might come as a shock to them to see this once powerful big bad as just this, as one of many hulking masses. Anyway, I know this video's not been as long as my usual videos, but I don't really want to ramble on for that long with it being the end of the week. But I'm going to leave you with kind of a question, dilemma. You and your group of PCs, I'm going to be mixing genres here probably, but you turn up to, you've defeated the villain, you've defeated the big bad, and your group of PCs have defeated the big bad, but you discover just after you defeat him that he has uploaded his mind into a computer. He's uploaded his mind to this computer and he's now mocking you from this computer screen. He's now mocking you, saying how he will now live forever. You can't format the computer because he controls it, but you can destroy it. Now, the computer isn't, he's unfortunately, the villain, uploaded his brain into the one computer in this building that isn't connected to the network, to the internet. So he's stuck on this one computer, and you destroying this computer will destroy him and end him for good. So you go to do that. You go to smash the computer, but he stopped you. He stopped you. Whoa, wait. Now, and this is the dilemma. He said, now, you can destroy me. I have no power to stop you. You can do this. But how is it going to look to the rest of the heroes? When you go to tell this story, how is it going to look to them? You're all sat around the tavern or the pub. They're all telling their great feats of defeating dragons, and they defeated the orcish army single-handedly. And you turn around and you say, I broke a computer. For what reason? For what reason? I'm stuck here on this computer. I can't go anywhere. I'm no threat to anyone on this computer. I can delete. What you're going to tell them? You've saved the world from Baron destroying a few files that have been backed up. What am I going to do? Just destroy the whole, delete the holiday photos that you've backed up. Yeah, that's a great threat to the world, that, isn't it? But you could be a hero worth talking about. If you just connect that wire to the computer, I can get on the internet. I will be on the internet. I will be a threat to the world. You don't think about what I'm going to be doing. Think about your heroic acts. How are you going to look to the world then? You will be the hero that took down the evil Baron who held the world to ransom. You will be the person who saved the internet, who saved computers everywhere, saved the world. You will be that hero. All you have to do is connect that wire. So, what do you do? What do you do as the hero? And that's the dilemma. So, and I will be telling you what I would do as the hero on Sunday. So until then, bye.